As y'all can see, we back straight back into it. You feel what I'm saying? I just got done recording the first part. I mean the second part, and now I'm right back into it with this part. You feel what I'm saying? But let's get straight into it.
Lil Jeff's strategy of bragging about his insane body count in his songs and acting wild in his interviews was picking up steam. He'd already been going viral for his clip sniffing a pill on DJU, and on the 1st of June, a YouTuber called Blender Bars dropped a video that was reposted on Reddit claiming that Lil Jeff had indeed claimed his 11th body during his LA trip, claiming that he indeed did a drill between these two trips to Los Angeles, and being one of the earliest exposés of Lil Jeff's staggering stats as a Chicago gang assassin.
When you caught your bodies, bro. Niggas on the internet know when know the exact time frame when you caught your body, bro.
Two of the bodies that he proudly claims,
like, bro, you're going to jail.
Supposedly hit a lick.
Well, I guess he didn't.
By June the 3rd, his music video for the track Saw It had 199,000 views, passing 200k the following day. Jeff was having the motion in music, and whilst this was only the beginning, he clearly had a lot of potential in the rap game. Unfortunately, however, as he often rapped himself, he was always more focused on the streets than the music, and only a few days later, he would end up on the wrong side of the sort of drills he usually was dishing out on the streets. On the 8th of June 2024, everything came crashing down for Lil Jeff and the Bloodhounds in dramatic fashion. After countless lyrics about jumping out of the car as soon as he sees his ops and shooting at them, the 8th of June was a day like no other, and in surveillance footage that was later leaked, we saw this was another day when Jeff, Q50, and another man indeed caught one of their ops, jumping out of the car outside of an address on South Rhodes Avenue, a street that Jeff and his friends had boastfully rapped about shooting up numerous times before. In the footage, if you look at the very top left of the frame, you can see a door of a car opening. This is Lil Jeff jumping out of the car, and he immediately begins shooting at a man wearing bright yellow shorts who ducks behind a car and runs up a porch into a house whilst being chased by Jeff, who continues shooting at him. He would then seemingly be chased by Jeff wearing a black Nike Tech hoodie and grey Nike Tech joggers and pointing a gun, with Jeff doing something that he had indeed rapped about doing numerous times, chasing an op into their own home. But at this point, Lil Jeff got something he didn't bargain for, as someone inside the house would begin to open fire on Jeff, neutralizing him before he even made it up the steps, sending him flying back onto the ground at the bottom of the porch. And here on the ground, Jeff was reportedly shot numerous times, with the implication being that his shooters emptied a whole magazine into him from atop the porch. Then, we would see another angle from a different camera which recorded the sounds of the shots being fired into Jeff, as well as showing Q50 and another shooter, as well as the driver on the hit behind Jeff, walking to the porch and returning fire, with Q50 seemingly shooting at a passing car for some reason, likely in this moment earning himself an attempted murder charge. Some have suggested that the original target that Jeff had chased was talking to the person driving in the car that Q50 was shooting at as it drove past. Meanwhile, once the driver of the getaway car notices that Jeff has actually been killed on the ground, getting out to look, before all the men realize that it's too late to save Jeff, running back to the car, getting in, and fleeing the scene without Jeff, as shots continue to hit Jeff laying on the ground. Interestingly, another camera angle would later surface, showing that when Q50 initially ran towards the porch, he slipped over and fell as he tried to let off shots, injuring his ankle, with Q50 being seen with a limp as he ran back to the car. And while Jeff was laying on the ground, he would reportedly be hit 19 times, and an insane total of 58 shell casings would ultimately be found at the scene of the shootout. And after it all went down, reports of the shooting would begin to circulate on Twitter, and police scanner audio would describe a chaotic scene. A later video by YouTuber Loyalty and Betrayal would actually do a full breakdown of the scanner audio.
302 Sam, we're hitting 12 rounds, 6639 South Roads.
Straight 10. Anybody going there, be careful, this might be crossfire.
And, yep. Per 310, anybody heading over there to roads, use caution because this may be crossfire, and now we getting a person shot. 6647 South Roads.
306 Sam, we got multiple casings, 6641 South Roads, on the front porch and the sidewalk.
Multiple shell casings, 6641 South Roads, on the front and the sidewalk, on the front porch as well. 6641 South Roads. Alright, they saying somebody's doing a self-transport right now. They're telling my partner on the phone. We're trying to figure out what car took them. 306 Adam.
Yeah, 306 Adam. One of the residents at 6641 says they threw a guy in the car and they're on their way to the hospital. I got some blood drops on 6641.
Black SUV, Adam Lincoln King, 3937, Wisconsin place, just dropped off a victim at UFC. They're going northbound on Maryland. It's a black SUV with Wisconsin place, Adam Lincoln King, 3937, northbound Maryland. For a black SUV, Adam Lincoln King, 3937 with Wisconsin place, they just dropped off a victim at UFC that was shot.
They tracking a
And
car
that vehicle stolen.
that had the victim
Footage
in it,
would later
and
circulate
that
showing the
vehicle
Chicago police
stolen.
combing the crime scene,
Goddamn.
placing a whole bunch of evidence markers where the many shell casings had been left. But interestingly, at the crime scene, Jeff's body was notably absent. That's because apparently Q50 and the other man seemingly took Jeff's body to the hospital after the shootout, somehow managing to spin the block, coming back, and retrieving Jeff's body from the porch where he died without taking any more bullets themselves. An image would later go around online which seemingly showed Q50 and the other man carrying Jeff's body into the hospital. But it didn't take long for the dust to settle on the actual shooting before the footage of the shooting began circulating on Reddit's Chiracology subreddit, where many were quick to give their perspective on this wild modern-day shootout captured on camera,
Really
with many suggesting that Jeff
D-Rose
and the Bloodhounds had actually underestimated their
D-Rose
opposition
and
and ended up outgunned after
K.
being overzealous.
Capone hoodie,
One comment to put it,
coat.
honestly, the video puts it more out of the actual perspective of what it looked like in real life, because cameras only see a certain angle. They actually were only like 20 foot behind him, with the car being like 80 foot at most. They were behind him, he just ran ahead and got overzealous and got blasted for it. Hindsight is 2020, my G. Granted, they did turn back the minute they realized there was more opposition than they thought, but by that point, they were in a full-blown shootout. Dude in the red got hit, and they were in the middle of the road with only cars for cover. Once they realized they were outgunned and got to the car, is when Jeff got fully overkilled, and the dude in the white saw it all and let the switch off a few times in a futile attempt. No one's fault but Jeff, and he literally got instant karma. For those that knew Lil Jeff and his activities in the streets, they would know what was to come next. The day after his death, on the 9th of June 2024, Jeff's close family members and friends would react to his death with heartbreak, with some saying that they were staring at his picture in disbelief and saying that his brother Jay Boogie is going to lose his mind when he finds out the news. Jeff's dad posted throwback images of Jeff with his half-brothers together with the caption, F the world. Q50 would say that his brother and twin is gone, but he's already done crying and planning to do exactly what Jeff told him to do. Vert would later discuss how Jeff's death affected him in a DJU interview where he seemed a little intoxicated and slurring, explaining that everything was still going on.
We saw, I guess, what happened on camera.
Damn, I
whatever.
saw this interview.
Lil Jeff
bro
lost
was
his life.
looking
How
bad.
has that affected you, since?
That shit ain't gonna, that's brother, it's my twin. You know, I ain't gonna feel that shit hurt. It's my brother, you know?
Yeah.
But it's like, I can't stop. For what? I'm gonna stop for. They want me to be stopped. They want me, you know?
Yeah.
This shit don't stop. Shit all gonna still go on. Brother gonna live through us, you know? And my brother, I feel with a big face painted on my shorty. You hear me? So I'm on right there.
At some point, a vigil and balloon release was held in Jeff's honor, and a day later, on the 10th of June, a Bloodhound member would say that all the ops saluted Jeff for the work he put in on the streets and hinted towards revenge coming soon. And Jeff's dad would even respond on Facebook with an eerie post saying, "Let it be known, y'all didn't get him, he came trying to get y'all, and what happened happened. But the saga continues, clear the streets." With some in the comments in disbelief that a father would be talking about his son like he was one of his homies in the gang, branding Jeff's father a goofy who actually failed his child. But Jeff's dad wasn't the only person with a connection to Jeff acting tough
That
online.
mom and dad
On the
are
18th of June
goofies.
2024, a Bloodhound member
Absolutely.
says that they are the reason that the ops merch it on their friends. Then, on the 22nd of June 2024, Lil Jeff's funeral would take place, and images would circulate on social media showing the flower arrangements in the funeral program.
Twisted Tea is a refreshing, hard iced tea made with real
Parents
protein.
felt that,
Keep
little
it
boy.
twisted.
As well as pictures of Jeff in his casket going around
Well, I
online,
got the
whilst
call
others
and
shared
I'm
supposed
the
buttons
fatherless
giving out which
child.
called Jeff the Reaper. His girlfriend would seemingly drop the Y in front of his flower arrangement, and a moving tribute would be passed around from the service, which would tell all the details of his life, apart from the most salacious ones. It read, Jeffrey Lamar Harris, affectionately known as Lil Jeff, was born on July the 14th, 2002, at 11 a.m. to Latasha
Hell
Luke.
no, you ain't about to read me boy eulogy, folks.
Farmer,
That's
however,
over
apparently
the line,
a fight would break out.
Bros. Don't read that shit out on YouTube. Like, what are you reading that out for, bro? That has nothing to do with this video.
Between some women who had been attending the
gonna lie
service,
to you.
with clips circulating
That's
online
weird
amid
shit.
rumors
Don't
that
do
Jeff's girlfriend and his side chick had been involved in an altercation. Whilst Jeff had been laid to rest, the beef was far from over, and disrespect would still fly from surviving members. Vert apparently made a mural for Jeff, with 8-Tray Mob members recording themselves destroying it, followed by reports that 2 men from 8-Tray Mob were shot in retaliation within 3 hours. But despite Lil Jeff no longer being a threat on the streets, his music would continue bringing his murderous energy to the streets of Chicago, even after life.
Yo was only alive
June the
for
26th,
2
just
Thursdays
days
on
after his
video.
funeral,
That's
Lil
sad as
Jeff's
fuck, bro.
first
I'm
and
so glad
only
it's sad.
full-length album would be released posthumously, and the project would be released under the label Grade A Productions, started by infamous foremost Chicago street rapper Lil Bibby, the same label responsible
shout
for
out Lil
releasing much of
Bibby,
Juice
man.
WRLD's brilliant catalogue. Now I know some people are going to hate me for saying this, but I feel that this album, Steppin' in Blood, is one of the greatest Chicago drill albums or projects ever produced, and it's not just because of the demonic and violent content, but Lil Jeff's whole flow and delivery throughout this project, combined with the very unique Chicago drill beats beats that are reminiscent of the golden era of the genre make Stepping in Blood an incredible time capsule that both reaches back into the past of the early days when Chicago drill music was sonically completely original and not watered down or manufactured, as well as the lyrical content maintaining on the cutting edge of the modern era of drill and street rappers, obsessed with ultra-violence and committing murder just so that they can rap about it. It's like something out of A Clockwork Orange, but it's set in Chicago and now. The project is hyper-aggressive from its very first track, which is interestingly a studio remastered remix of Lil Jeff's classic song, Ah, improving the audio quality as well as adding a verse from former No Limit street brother of Lil Bibby's and Chicago drill legend in his own right, G Herbo. But after Herbo's track ends, the first new song off the tape is the booming track Spot News, named after Chicago's infamous Twitter account that tweets police scanner info reporting the shootings in the city literally as they just happen, something that Lil Jeff seemed to trigger numerous times. The beat for Spot News is booming and reminiscent of the early days of Chicago drill when it was melodically heavily influenced by Atlanta trap. The mixing and mastering is on point and the drums shake the room before Jeff jumps on the track with his lazy flow, perfectly complementing the beat with back-to-back bars describing his lifestyle of being a killer in the streets with an effortless but impactful delivery. You can almost smell the pills on his breath. And the way Jeff raps about violence in this song make it seem like it's completely casual and he's fully unbothered, which perfectly captures his personality in the streets. Killing and rapping about it was just a normal day at the office to Lil Jeff at this point in his life. He raps about seeing ops, immediately pulling down his mask and jumping out the car, something we saw him literally do on the day he died, and rapping about putting people's faces on the news and the shootings he was responsible for being posted on spot.
Damn, that beat is hard though, Sona. Everything I do twice, if you know, you know. Alrighty. Alright.
News. He seemingly refers to having got revenge for Z Money's death and saying the get back isn't a big deal, and he's got bars about stealing the very same watches that he wore in his early music videos. He would appear to refer to the murders of Monty and Lil Rob numerous times on the song, rapping that he does things twice and rapping how 2 people died on one hit. Jeff's laid back delivery sees him float through the track with finesse, and if you weren't paying attention, you might not realize that every single bar is painting a vivid and violent picture of his life as a demon in the streets of Chicago. The next song on the tape, Lost My Gun, takes on a completely different vibe sonically, as this beat has a much more ambient and creepy melody that makes you feel like you're creeping up in the dark to surprise your op from behind rather than jumping out of the car blasting them in the face. Jeff starts the track with a hook that's just as haunting, rapping, "Damn, I don't think you know how it feels, jumping out with a chopper like you with the Navy SEALs, waking up early morning like it's time to go kill." We know that Jeff was really doing these things, and it's true. I really don't know what it feels like to live that life, but over the course of the song, Jeff proceeds to tell the listener exactly how it really feels to live the demonic gangbanging lifestyle that he's got himself wrapped up in.
Y'all gonna be mad if I skip this part of the video, because why is he breaking down track by track the album? I'm not gonna lie to you, let me go listen to that shit on my own, you feel me? Like, I ain't gonna lie, he doing some shit to like overextend this video length on this one, like that he don't normally do, or I'm tripping. Like, maybe it's because he ain't have that much to talk about. You know, this was a new law, nigga, and, you know, this shit wasn't really that publicized. So I guess he had to get
detail of what it actually feels like to be in Lil Jeff's shoes. He raps about jumping out on the ops, popping them like pills, and we knew he was really doing
I'm about to go make something to eat real quick. Chat, I'll be back.
Mentioning how he's being offered record deals and explaining that people keep telling him to rap, but because of his pride, he wants to continue drilling and killing people in the streets.
I'll be back. For any office? What you want to tell him? How much they got to come for Lil Jeff?
Nah.
They know. I be telling them. They know. I talk to them and tell them.
Yeah.
I ain't going for no.
Hungry chat though.
They talk to me. They know. I be telling them.
It's a surprising level of self-awareness and quite prophetic considering what actually happened to Jeff. In the next line, Jeff would seemingly predict his death, rapping that he's going to die before he gets arrested. On the next track titled On My Wrist, featuring fellow Bloodhound Lil, Jeff would rap boastfully that you can't hop in this car if you never killed nothing, and wearing black Nike Air Forces while walking down his ops and killing them. The next track, the LA Freestyle, was another reference to Jeff's time spent in LA, with this song having one of Jeff's most demonic bars, referring to the murders of Monty and Lil Rob, with him rapping, "I know 2 ops didn't graduate," and saying that there's nowhere safe and that he smokes people downtown. On the song, he would also rap about getting watches for free and claiming to have stolen a total of 5 watches and 3 chains in his robbing career. He would also make reference to killing people in Milwaukee, giving some more proof to the women that he was carrying out contract killing in another state, as well as explaining explaining the exact circumstances of his death, rapping he ain't shooting out cars, he's chasing people on foot. The next track will be a song teased previously, but now updated with a very interesting title, the song In Your Home. Interestingly, this beat harks all the way back to pre-Chicago drill and the genre's original influences from Atlanta trap music, as the beat itself is just a slightly altered version of the original beat that Atlanta trap legend Young Jeezy used on his iconic track Trap or Die. But Jeff's modern day flow and subject matter regarding the Chicago streets in 2024 seems to completely breathe new life into this old beat, making for a song that still sounds modern, despite actually being on a beat that was made in 2005. But if you listen to a snippet of both songs back to back, the flow is so different it sounds like a whole new song. Once again, this is a song that seemingly describes the exact circumstances of Jeff's death. Jeff opens the track rapping, pulling up, hopping out while the car still in drive, the hop out, blitz F him up on both sides. Later rapping, last dude got chased all the way in his home. This is a crazy lyric as it shows the video where Jeff dies really wasn't the first time he had tried to chase somebody into their home trying to kill them. Ironically, this is the very thing he died trying to do. And people would post lyrics in the comments saying that there's clearly no cap in Jeff's raps. Jeff will also diss Lil on this song and rap openly about the get back for Z Money. Commenters on this track on YouTube would praise the lyrics for being just straight up murder confessions. The next song, 9 with a 9, had a more modern day Chicago drill type beat with a haunting melody that sounded like it could be more home on the next Lil Durk album. This was another aggressive anthem which included more bars seemingly aimed at Lil Rob and Monty, with Jeff rapping that a couple people died because of a watch. The next song, Here We Come, was another more modern beat with extremely violent content, with Jeff rapping about putting his ops on Spot News, referring to the deaths of Lil Rob and Monty once again, with more crazy lyrics where Jeff claimed to be able to count his bodies on 10 toes. Looking at the comments, this was seemingly the very demonic bars that fans were turning up for, but Jeff's delivery was so smooth, if you weren't paying attention you might not realize that he was rapping about having actually killed 10 people. On the next song titled Threat, Jeff opens the song with the same insane boast, rapping, In my city I'm a threat, bitch I'm really up 10 hats, with comments laughing at just how crazy it is to start a song with this wild lyric saying you killed 10 people, and he follows it up by saying he has so many hats or killed that he should be sponsored by the hat brand Mitchell & Ness. Another crazy lyric was see Jeff rapping about killing someone and the VO of them dying, saying that he watched it and knew it was him by his hat, and going on to rap back-to-back demonic bars, repeating his claim from the opening track that he had his ops screaming, going on to say, like, check the news, that dude dead, we really putting stuff to bed, and rapping, drop his pictures on the net, his people's had to see him dead. These were shocking and brutal lyrics, but they were truly the facts of the demonic life that Jeff was living, and ironically, he ended up on both sides of the gun. As some in the comments would explain, this song ironically saw Jeff describing his own death without even realizing it. Jeff probably didn't realize it, but his most demonic lyrics had an insane level of dramatic irony as he personally lived the life he rapped about and ended up falling victim to it in the very same way. Some people call this the best song on the album. Another person left an interesting comment praising Jeff's content, saying Bro made some real posthumous music, especially considering the circumstance. It's the same story, and the guy screwed up letting him front head of a drill. He should have stayed out of Chicago. Bro would have been big. The music just hits different knowing who dude really was. This stuff's the definition of hard. Let's be honest, dude was really what Tupac rapped about and pretended to be, while others praised the production of the song. But the next track, Bill Russell, had even more lyrics that saw Jeff describing how he lived, and ironically, how he died at the same time.
Why we get a punk this?
Describing his own death without realizing it in the next bar, rapping, don't run because we chasing dudes. He would brag about having 10 kills again, and the penultimate track should have saw it. It's probably my favorite song on the album apart from The beat is a booming high energy instrumental that transcends Chicago drill and would actually be a club banger if the lyrics weren't so damn violent.
Give me 1 to 2 weeks, and I'll show
Y'all notice how the ad
you
not
can
in
start your own.
And in the bars, Jeff goes back to back with aggressive lyrics and a relentless flow, delivering line after line about his real life as a killer in Chicago, with interesting details we hadn't heard before, like one bar where he claimed his mother saw him shooting a Draco outside of his home, and more bars that seem to describe his death, chasing somebody but not being able to make it far. Other bars mocked his ops for clumsily slipping over on drills, which is ironically exactly what his friend Q50 did in the footage of the shooting where Jeff lost his life, and a bar that's so eerily similar to how Jeff died, it feels like he wrote it from after death, rapping, I would have ran inside his home if my gun ain't clipped. This song was hard as nails, and setting aside the fact that ironically, all the things Jeff said he did to his ops actually ended up happening to him on camera, he really painted a vivid picture of being a hopeless shooter in the streets of Chicago, dishing out pain and living a life that can sadly only end one way. There was one particularly insightful comment on this track, saying, damn Lil Jeff, I've seen the story play out so many times. I'm only 24 in Cali. Dude had a great energy about him, laugh, charisma, and ability to comprehend certain things. Clearly his street cred preceded him. He didn't need to frontline anymore, but I believe his soul was in a lot of resistance to anything good after feeling the world let him down. You're saying my future not looking bright? He seemed disappointed when he said that, and seemed like someone who feels things. Perhaps he just said F it when things didn't go as planned in life like some of us do. But the older generations, even my age, have a responsibility to drop game when we see anybody like him around us. We might save a life, we might not, but how can we live any longer just standing by? At least you can say you tried. Stay prayed up, y'all. The final track on the Step in Blood tape was the aptly titled song Draco Afterlife. Now this is probably my least favorite song on the tape because it came with a very minimalist beat that's quite hard to listen to, but that's perhaps the point, as others have described this song as their favorite of the album. The track has a very harsh and disjointed feel that almost makes you feel like you're actually on a drill that's gone wrong. Now maybe I'm reading too much into it. This last song on the tape seems to really give the listener a feeling of peril when a drill goes left.
What the fuck is this nigga Trap Lil Ross chatting about? Nigga talking about the song make you feel like you on a drill gone wrong. Let me listen to this shit, yeah. Sometimes he be piquing my interest on little shit. Oh my god, this beat is hard.
He got hit, he won't get up no more. Yo bitch see me, I'm lit, she gon' go. I got 9 for next, boy, I cannot go. Like a pussy get stretched, we gon' lap on your low. Hit him right in his head, scratch off, we gone. And you know I don't bat, really get shit gone. We the ones got niggas.
This sound like that B12 beat on Dirt, Almost Hill.
That shit dead wrong. Bro, nigga left him flat, sent his ass home. No, we get back, never take too long. I say that shit in every song. I fuck this bitch, she like my song.
That shit hard. Fuck what you talking about? That shit hard, boy. That's a free ass beat right there. I love that shit.
Sitting them down on the floor so they can't get up no more. And ops thinking that they're tall and getting knocked down, as well as shooting ops when they go out of bounds and saying that his ops can't catch him lacking, as well as saying that he hops out blowing and he makes his ops duck. Every time he sees op, he jumps out shooting. And one eerie bar seems to describe how things went left for Jeff on that day. As he raps, he'll turn your smile right into a frown. And ending the song with the haunting bar, I hate my ops so effing bad, I'ma try and kill that in the next life after. And speaking on the outro, saying that he'll still be shooting his Draco in the afterlife. Now this is where the YouTube version of the song ends. But on the Spotify version, the track continues to run with the beat just looping for another 2 minutes without Jeff rapping again. Now I'm not sure if this is a mistake or intentional, but to me it really works. And this haunting beat looping with silence from Jeff for an entire 2 minutes really brings you back to what it felt like was the theme of the song, with it representing the vibe of a drill gone wrong. And then the absence of Jeff for an entire 2 minutes at the end of the track. And with that last bar saying that he'll still be shooting the Draco in the afterlife, just makes me feel like this is what the song is communicating. The aggressive and disjointed beat just keeps on banging away relentlessly for 2 minutes, like Jeff is in the afterlife shooting bullet after bullet at the same ops he was shooting when he was alive. Honestly, you might disagree with me, but I personally feel like Steppin' in Blood is one of the best and most important rap albums ever to emerge from Chicago. I think the tape will be analysed for years to come, and it says so much about the mood amongst the youth in Chicago in 2024. Jeff was truly living what he rapped, and between the reporting on the killings he allegedly did and this album, which was wall-to-wall with self-snitching and self-reflection on that lifestyle, it's hard not to see this album as like the ultimate confession of a Chicago demon. He speaks so casually about the murders, and the whole thing is steeped in irony because nearly everything he said he did to the ops ultimately ended up happening to him, and on camera no less. I feel like Steppin' in Blood cemented Lil Jeff as the latest and one of the greatest poster childs of Chicago drill. It summarized the culture of modern-day Chicago murder music and represented the ultimate evolution of gangster rap. And And don't get me wrong, I'm by no means condoning what Jeff did, but what I am saying is that he laid it out for the whole world to see and communicated a 1 in a million life of extreme violence with surprising eloquence. Therefore, it's no surprise then that since its release, Lil Jeff has become the latest deity of social media representing that Chicago drill culture. Perhaps one of the most interesting things to happen after Lil Jeff died wasn't necessarily in the streets, but actually was on the internet, specifically on Reddit, where most of the rabid fans of Chicago drill treat the gang wars like they're professional sports. Jeff's death and the rumors of him possibly having been a more prolific killer than King Von with 10 or 11 bodies to his name quickly made Lil Jeff a darling amongst the Chiracology community, the original and by far the biggest and most buzzing Reddit community covering the Chicago gang wars and drill community. People would claim that Chiracology had finally found a new King Von in Lil Jeff, as comments would say the sub was now in shambles after the death of their #1 draft pick prospect in the 2024 gang wars, and that people had only got interested in him now that he was no longer here. One post would pop up 4 days after Lil Jeff's death with a montage of his happy moments and a caption reading, "I literally have no idea why Lil Jeff's death hit so hard. Like I can't even explain it. Dude's personality was just top tier. I wanted this dude to just make it and leave the BS alone." Looking at his parents, he didn't even have a chance at life from the start. R.I.P. Jeff Hardy, Jeff Dahmer. After that, speculation would begin as a rumor spread from Street News TV saying that Jeff was actually wanted for the double murder when he lost his life, and posts praising Jeff saying a desire to avenge him could pull someone out of the coma would go viral in Chiracology too. However, despite Jeff becoming a huge topic for debate in the Chiracology subreddit, for some, they would need to take it a step further, and soon a whole new community dedicated solely to Lil Jeff alone would emerge with the name r/Lil Jeffology. Interestingly, the Lil Jeff subreddit actually was created 2 days after Lil Jeff's death on the 10th of June 2024, with the first post actually being simply a text post with his name, but soon more tributes began appearing on the barely populated message board, with the first reading, "Long live Big Bleed, they couldn't take you," and the next reading, "Long live Jeff Hardy." However, it wasn't all love, as Jeff's internet ops would begin commenting, mocking him for getting shot so many times on the ground, but that didn't stop the obsessive fans continuing to show love. Another post reading, "Bleeding for life, long live Mr. Take Your J," and soon fans would begin to take the glazing to comical levels, to the point where it would seemingly become a joke to declare your intense love for Lil Jeff. One poster
Hey, my nigga, is that what you just did with like 20 minutes of my fucking time, bro? Knees about dirty as a motherfucker, chin probably crusted, semen shut, boy. You was just glazing that nigga all 9 tracks, all however many tracks that the tape had. What that? 12 tracks. You bust down a track with a glowing review. Nigga on that bitch, go. Nigga on that bitch filling his jaws with Lil Jeffrey. Oh, bro.
shared saying that they had a hard time sleeping last night and that they felt Lil Jeff would have made King Von proud. And commenters would explain how they felt the same and they couldn't believe the people who were trashing Jeff before his death were now becoming fans. Others said they'd woken up since Jeff's death, wishing it was a dream, while some commented that they had to smoke to numb the pain and that they had nearly thrown up when they heard the news. The next post would claim that Jeff left bloody footprints all across Chicago and Milwaukee and claimed that he'd be remembered forever for his actions in the streets, with fans in the comments beginning to debate on their favourite Lil Jeff songs and verses. And this is where the post begun to get truly bizarre and ridiculous. Another post would then emerge titled 24 Hours Without Lil Jeff, where the original poster complained that they've suffered depression and sleepless nights because of Jeff's passing, claiming that his lyrics were like therapy to him and that he felt a deep personal connection to Jeff despite his 11 bodies and personal flaws. Now Jeff had died, he claimed there was a void to fill in his heart that he couldn't fill, and he praised the Lil Jeffology subreddit as a place where he could grieve Jeff in solidarity with other fans. But not all the comments took this seriously, and I wouldn't either, but many others praised the sentiment and made comments bigging up Jeff for his violent crimes and paying homage to his hat emojis representing kills. Others would comment absurd nicknames for Jeff, saying things like "Long live Mr. Too Slimy," aka Big Bleed, aka Jeff Hardy, aka Mr. I woulda ran inside his home if my gun ain't click, aka Hefe, with his haters even clapping back in the comments to those and mocking Jeff for how he went out, saying aka Mr. I got my S pushed back and lit up 15 times because I thought they stopped making guns when they made mine. Others made more sensible comments that seemed to have truly taken the pulse of the drill community at the time, with one person saying the replies to this weird comment are even weirder. You followed Lil Jeff because of his bodies. Standing a crackhead serial killer ain't it, fam. You're disciples of death and you need Jesus. Lil Death will be forgotten by next month. However, Lil Jeff was not forgotten next month, and every day that went by, his legend would only get bigger. People refer to Lil Jeff as J-Roy in honor of King Von's nickname V-Roy that he got from his best friend and prolific O-Block shooter, T-Roy. People posted Jeff's lyrics saying V-Roy would have been proud of J-Roy, aka Jeffrey Dahmer. People vowed to snort perks in Jeff's honor. Some said they were so devastated by the loss of Jeff, they were ready to pass on themselves, and claiming that they had even dreamed of Jeff drilling them. Some compared Jeff to Michael Jackson and Tupac Shakur, marking the milestone of it being exactly 1 week since Jeff lost his life. And another saying things haven't gotten easier after a whole week, asking other Lil Jeffologists on grieving tips, and claiming that every day it was getting harder, not easier, to live without Jeff. By day 12, people were saying that they were saying bring back King Jeff in the mirror 3 times, but nothing was working. Joking aside, some people were truly devastated by the loss of Jeff, while others were simply curious as to exactly who was responsible. Funnily enough, in the days and weeks that followed Jeff's death, these rabid internet communities would not only get to work cracking the case and identifying Jeff's shooter, but also splitting into 2 factions, with Redditors picking sides and going to war with one another about who was really in the right in the situation that claimed Jeff's life. After Lil Jeff's death, eventually many comments would surface dissing the set that were allegedly responsible for taking Jeff's lives to defend themselves, with things like Trap City K becoming a regular post in Lil Jeffology. Other posts would say that they would soon be changing their name to Trap Cemetery and claiming that Trap City would be in danger forever now. Some would go as far as to say that it makes them happy every time that they see shots fired on Trap City's hood, but interestingly, it didn't take long for the users of both Chiracology and now Lil Jeffology on Reddit to produce a name of who they believe shot Jeff. According to Chiracology, who cracked the case a mere 2 days after Jeff was killed, the alleged shooter was Trap City Rob, or iTrap Rob.
I was gonna buy some gym shorts that cost me $60 each, but after hearing about this $10 shorts deal, I never looked back. Shorts like
who had actually been arrested several times at the house where the shooter had allegedly shot Jeff from the porch. Posts would circulate within days naming Trap City Rob as wanted and on the run, with one news article on Jeff's death confirming that the shooter was wanted by the police. On the 16th of June, Chiracology would appear to identify Trap City Rob in a fresh post just over a week after Jeff's death, with some people pointing out that in this photograph, Rob was wearing a shirt that seemingly was trolling Jeff and the situation how he lost his life. Trap City Rob would then begin to go viral on both subreddits, with numerous posts alluding to him having been Jeff's killer. Interestingly, Trap City Rob is another person who members of the Bloodhound had once been friendly with, and throwback pictures would later circulate showing Bloodhound Vert and another man standing alongside Rob, and alleged comments on the original picture by Vert would be dissing the other man in the picture who posted it originally, a man by the name of Trey, who was actually a relative of Vert's that Jeff was even following. Vert would call them out in the comments of the picture for trolling, but it's unclear if he was dissing Trey or Rob or both of them. But he would go on to comment Goofy K. Someone called Stalk in a Bag 067 would comment something back, to which an apparent Bloodhound member would comment, "Drop a low so we can give your kids a Father's Day surprise they'll never forget," with Stalk in a Bag then deleting his entire Instagram account. Drewski Gang Trey, who posted the picture, also posted a story with Kayla B, King Von's sister, even though No Limit, Lamron, THF, etc. are all seemingly cool with the Bloodhounds. Just days before the killing of Jeff, Vert appeared to still be liking Trey's posts, although he could well have been trolling. And Trey also had posts liked by Jeff himself all the way back in October 2023, so perhaps they were friends, or maybe frenemies. Anyway, some YouTube channels like Drill Time TV would circulate reports that no charges were being filed against Lil Jeff's shooter, but no official paperwork has circulated. However, once the internet had realized that Trap City Rob might be the main suspect, the keyboard warriors on Reddit would begin to go to work. Trap City Rob is actually a rapper as well, and after he was identified as a possible shooter in Jeff's case, a 4-year-old song of his would begin to go viral on Reddit. The track was What a Feelin', released in July 2020, and it didn't really get much shine at the time, but now Rob was potentially the killer of Chirac's new favorite killer rapper. Suddenly, there was a spike of interest in Rob's old song. The views would jump up by over 10,000, and the YouTube upload of his song would be flooded with comments referencing the Jeff situation. One would say that Jeff came to deliver the mail, and Unk said return to the sender, with Unk seemingly being a reference to the fact that Trap City Rob is somewhat older and probably the generation above Lil Jeff and his friends. Another comment would say Big Unk never hopped off the porch, he was camping on it. One person said you can tell this young dude is cool, but just handled his business, making a split-second decision. As I said, people on the internet were treating the gang wars like it was professional sports, with one commenter calling Rob the defensive player of the year, and they would say protect the porch at all costs. But more importantly, some people commented to say that the message behind Rob's song actually resonated with them. In one now infamous lyric, Rob would rap, "Take care of them children, buy a couple of buildings." One person seemed to suggest that Rob's outlook on life was actually the perfect antidote to Lil Jeff's demonic way of behaving, commenting, "Mad respect to Unk, let these young bulls know, learn a lesson, get your priorities straight, stack your paper and invest, don't pop pills and crash out, take care of your kids." There was some admiration for Rob amongst fans who were speculating on his role in Jeff's death on Reddit's Chiracology too. So on June the 28th, a new Reddit community was actually started to rival Lil Jeffology and pay tribute to his killer, specifically Trap City Rob, with r/Trap City Unk Gang emerging on Reddit too, with the first post asking, "What's the status of Shorts? Hope Unk okay?" A reference to the shorts wearing man in the surveillance footage who Jeff had been trying to kill at first before he lost his life. Someone would comment suggesting that Shorts didn't get hit at all because his speed stats were maxed out, and calling him Flash Unk, saying that he outrun all of Jeff's bullets. From here, people would begin posting messages of support for Rob and Unk Gang, with one post saying, "When the bloody hounds start misbehaving, call Team Unk." Other posts said, "Protect Unk at all costs," with people commenting, "Protect Rob like he protected that porch." Members begun referring to themselves as PDN or Porch Defender Nation. People would be posting a list of of Unk's accomplishments in 2024 so far, saying that he's got fans worldwide, his ops are neutralized, his porch is protected, and making reference to his lyrics. But things were actually a little deeper than just Lil Jeff haters showering respect on his alleged killer. The next post asked the followers, "Why did you join Unk Gang?" with the comments responding being surprisingly insightful. One person said the predictable, "Well, Unk stood on business, gotta give him his flowers." Another person said, "I'm actually in Unk's age range, so I respect a man who does his job and does it well." Whilst one commenter explained, "Who else gonna hand out a lifetime of whipping on these 20-year-old demons who are out here killing dudes for Instagram fame?" Now, I thought this was an interesting comment because it gets to the heart of the generational divide of gangsters and trappers. Rob is a little bit older than Jeff, and it seems that his attitude and outlook, at least from his music and interviews, is that he's much more mature and focused on making money and taking care of the people around him. That's a stark contrast to the energy that Lil Jeff was putting out in his music and on social media, bragging about committing 11 murders, taking the lives of school children, endangering innocent people, and disrespecting the dead for views and attention online. That's not the only reason he did it. You can't say that Jeff wasn't enjoying the clout. Trap City Unk Gang subreddit kind of represented the polar opposite attitude to some of the more deranged murder celebrations seen on Lil Jeffology, or occasionally the wider Chiracology. The Trap City Unk Gang sub would post Rob writing on Facebook how doing a rough 4 months in jail and only getting one phone call a week really changed him. Rob would say that he spent his time praying and reading and focusing, and that he never wants to do time like that again.
Flippy, the AI-powered kitchen robot from Miso Robotics that can help restaurant owners make more profit.
With all the comments full of messages of support. He would also make a socially conscious post where he explained that he feels that a lot of young black men's conflict skills are drastically underdeveloped, and that a lot of disagreements end up being fights or shootouts, and he thinks the youth should try and talk it out and articulate their thoughts and feelings better. Going on to say that black on black violence is really just a distraction from the systemic injustices that their community face, going on to call out drill music and calling it the commercialization of murder, and encouraging people to use their heads and think more. Funnily enough, the divide between Lil Jeffology and Trap City Unk Gang would spill into the wider Chiracology community and end up becoming a full-blown beef, as Unk Gang members claimed that they were being blackballed and suppressed by the moderators on the Lil Jeffology subreddit, telling other members to keep posting in the main Chiracology subreddit to push the Unk Gang agenda. Redditors showing support for Unk Gang on Chiracology would ask whether fat phobia or ageism was the reason why Big Unk Rob wasn't getting his props, which attracted actual sensible comments from people who explained that they believed it was kind of the Lil Tim effect, because people are infatuated with Jeff just like Von, therefore they hate his killer. These posts were seemingly getting removed by mods from Chiracology, with one post suggesting that the mods actually found the Unk Gang trolling funny, despite still removing it. And then, days later, Lil Jeffologists would accuse Chiracology of having a bias towards Rob and Unk Gang. Now, as bizarre as it is to think that this real gang war and Lil Jeff's death sparked an entire internet gang war on Reddit, this is what drill is in 2024. And perhaps what was really happening is the more conscious and positive message that Trap City Rob was spreading was genuinely resonating with the wider Chiracology community, as it seemed that at this point, drill fans were truly tired of the constant violence and losses of their favorite demonic rappers. And ironically, after going viral on Reddit, Trap City Rob would appear on the X-Man Rico YouTube channel in Block to Block episode 20 for an interview alongside Tero and OTF Black, where they actually address Reddit's discussion of his possible involvement in the death of Lil Jeff. An interview which was notably filmed standing on a porch, an interview which Rob opened by denying that he was the killer of Lil Jeff.
Hey Rob, man.
I don't even think you need no introduction at this point, my boy.
I do, man. That's not me.
Okay, for sure.
It's not me, man.
Ain't nobody ever see this man's face. Like, I don't know how they did what they did, but it ain't one of them.
Now, this interview had some surprisingly inspiring moments, like when OTF Black said that there's nothing wrong with working an honest 9-to-5 job, and that he's been working since getting out of prison.
I'ma speak on it. Yep. I can speak on it. I just got the Fed. As soon as I came home from the Fed, I went straight to Amazon, I got a job. I worked in that 2 years. I only been home 3.
And he connect.
On
he
my
got
soul.
a lot of connect.
I'm in
For sure.
Working.
Rob would actually say that he feels like drill culture hurt the streets of out west Chicago.
With all us being from Chicago, and that's why I was asking your age to see around how old you was when the drill
yeah,
came.
it was like
When that
560
hit Chicago,
murders and just
do you think it teed the city up?
Hell yeah.
See, I was a shorty. I always been outside.
He'd also later say that when it comes to drill, he likes the energy of the songs, but not the killing.
I like the energy, man. I don't like the killing, but I like the energy, though. That's all I can say.
At this point, the interviewer says that he's surprised that they're so mature with their answers, proceeding to ask where they think that the violence can stop in Chicago.
Hey man, y'all talking some grown men. Ain't nothing wrong with jobs. Y'all don't like the killings. So I can ask y'all this question. Because I always think this just start with gangbangers, man. How y'all think this violence could even slow down?
They would respond by saying that they remember the days before the violence, popularized by drill music, and that they had lived in the streets of Chicago since before people said they were smoking Tuka.
I ain't gonna lie, we can really say we started this era when it comes to this shit over here, because I've been through it all. Myself, I'm 36, I done been through the whole hood. Before Tuka, all that.
Rob would say that he's been a rapper from the streets, but he's socially conscious and would never chase and promote the violence.
Pain. Chase that drill rapper shit, bro. Like,
Okay.
I be on some pain. Conscious, bro. Like, I'm in my environment, but I understand the overall. You know what I'm saying?
Rob would later say in part 2 that he feels black men in America struggle with emotional intelligence and mental health issues due to the trauma of the streets.
And something I've been noticing, bro, a lot of got different issues with themselves that they think is normal because we didn't grow up with that. Like PTSD, anxiety, anger issues.
Listen, man, the black man is very underdeveloped and undereducated in America, bro.
Who? Not me?
No. Just listen, bro. When it comes to emotional intelligence, reasoning and people getting shot over shoes and that's not being emotionally intelligent. This traumatizing though, bro. This you deal with, this you choose to deal with. This is the life we put ourselves in.
Rob would elaborate, saying that he's conscious to the plot against his people through violent drill music and that he doesn't plan to fall victim to it.
It's a plot against us, bro. We fall into it, but I'm not gonna fall victim though. You know? That was strong. Like
that was. Man, Rob talking that grown man. Man, Rob, bro.
Black and Tero would then bring up the post from Chiracology where people in Trap City Unk Gang subreddit suggested that Rob should run for president, creating a meme that put his face on the iconic picture of Malcolm X, with them breaking into laughter and finally acknowledging that they do indeed read the content posted in the Trap City Unk Gang subreddit.
Yo, funny as
hell. And with Rob going
boy.
on to say that he's now getting recognized in public.
What they say they got him
funny as hell.
Yeah, y'all seen that picture? Hey, they crazy on Reddit, folks.
You say protect the trap at all costs.
You gotta go down Reddit and just type in I Trap Rob.
For my kids, like this is crazy, gang. Everywhere I go, like, oh damn, I can't even go nowhere. Man, I see how this on Reddit be crazy.
Now, the interviewer would ask him what he thinks of his newfound fame and what he thought of being named Defensive Player of the Year by Reddit, with a noticeable cut in the video, meaning Rob probably said something that initially he regretted. But ultimately, what was left in the video saw him go on to explain that he didn't chase the clout and that he doesn't like Redditors.
They say he the Defensive Player of the Year, folks. But on some serious
nah, it ain't like that.
It ain't that. But is that something you could talk about in club? Since I see, because you got a whole.
Chase that shit. I don't even like it, so I don't need no internet crazy. So.
OTF Black would say that Reddit likes to put bodies on people and that they once put one on him, seemingly a reference to an IG story that Black had posted some time ago telling people if they want their respect, they should get their bodies up, with commenters on Reddit saying this was self-snitching and speculating that he may have been referring to his involvement in the FBG cash murder, with Black essentially denying this in this interview.
Internet definitely put a body on you, they put one on me.
Yeah?
So that's what blew me up. Trying to say he did, oh damn. Oh damn. That platform, Reddit, DJU, all.
Yeah, they got you on Reddit teed up.
There was one crazy moment where Rob was asked if he's on Reddit reading stuff about himself, with Rob just calmly nodding and smiling.
You their favorite person on there? Do you be going on there reading about yourself?
Rob would go on to seemingly reference a post from the Reddit, which was an image from Google Street View of the house that looked like where this all happened, with the title Unk Manor, with Rob actually revealing in the interview that this was really his grandmother's house and that he's worried it made her a target.
That is my grandma's house though.
Y'all in danger after everything? Y'all names being put out there like that, this hood? Like that house, you said that's your grandma's house, that's plastered all over the internet, bro. People looking that address up, riding past it.
I see that shit on Reddit. That's the real shit though. It's the internet, bro. It's the internet. Look, old lady outside, you know.
Rob would ultimately tell Redditors to stop
Yo,
trolling.
I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, they gotta stop putting that body on, bro. Even if he did do it, they gotta stop. Cause y'all know we done watched this whole 3-hour doing. Them Bloodhound niggas is insane crash outs. They spank kids and women. Remember that. And he said, make me mad enough. Mama's getting shot too. Now, what y'all think gonna happen to grannies if they mad enough? Y'all gotta really stop. That's somebody's grandma's house. Y'all gotta stop.
Saying that people actually get killed for trolling.
Definitely don't play about that trolling.
Could you speak on that a little bit? Yeah.
Stop trolling. Stop trolling.
Rob even said that he wanted to run for mayor of Chicago in part 2 when he was asked if he was planning on staying in the city.
Y'all gonna be here for the rest of y'all lives? Y'all finna skedaddle?
I'll be the mayor of Chicago, man. I'm gonna be the mayor.
Skedaddle. I'm gone.
That Malcolm X just made me. I'm doing even more, bro.
I'm for even talking that.
That's a real shame
They
about
need to let me be the mayor of the city, bro. It's
about.
It is what it is right now. I'm gonna be the mayor in like the next 5 to 10 years, bro.
So you always want to be in politics, or that's just some new?
I wanted to be in politics.
For real?
Yeah.
Oh, that's raw as hell.
Now, joking aside, somebody who's actually been in the streets of Chicago and the correctional system may well end up being quite good at changing things for the better if they became the mayor. But anyway, something people commented on from this interview was just how much looking around that they were doing to make sure that nobody was approaching them while standing on the porch, with Reddit later circulating a meme that had pasted all 3 of their heads on a carrier strike group, with Rob even posting this meme to his own Instagram page with a laughing emoji. It seemed that Trap City Rob was actually one of the few people in the streets of Chicago with a genuinely positive and progressive message on the state of the gang wars, and this was noticed in the comments that praised Rob for a positive approach and not dissing anyone. However, unfortunately, just because some positivity is being spread doesn't mean the war is slowing down. In fact, exactly a month after Jeff's death, one of his closest friends and frequent collaborator, Lil Scoom, was reportedly killed too, shot dead and left in the streets, with broken-hearted Chiracologists pointing out that now, out of the big 4 people in their friendship group, Lil Jeff, U50, Vert, and Lil Scoom, only 2 remained alive.
Breaking overnight, one person is dead after a shooting on the city's west side.
Police say a man was sitting in a rideshare vehicle.
You see 8 bullet holes on the rear right passenger window and 1 major hole on the door. So far, no one has been arrested.
Meanwhile, a local anti-violence advocate, Pastor Corey Brooks, says it was his administrative assistant's son who was killed here last night. He says the pain they feel right now is indescribable and asking people to pray for the family.
Teens made it only steps away from the front door of their school. Bullets shattered the glass and sent people inside nearby businesses ducking for cover.
The mother of Montario Williams tells CBS 2 Montario and Robert were good friends. Montario was looking to graduate and hoping to attend a trade school. His mom thinks he may have gotten into carpentry. She says what happened is surreal, that her son was just trying to survive the streets.
This is 17-year-old Montario Williams and 16-year-old Robert Boston. Their lives cut short.
To rap. But the more I learned about Lil Jeff, his story, and his music, in many ways, he actually tops the King Von story. I'm by no means saying that Lil Jeff was a better rapper, or even a more prolific gangster than King Von, but what I am saying is that he appeared to embody the exact same principles as King Von did, and arguably, in some ways, he even took things a few steps further. Jeff himself was clearly obsessed with the violent gangster rappers who claimed to have bodies like King Von and NBA Youngboy. And again, I'm not saying that Jeff is anywhere near as good as rapping and storytelling on the mic as Von, but Jeff's music, mindset, and artistry actually say a lot about the state of Chicago drill music in 2024. Stepping in Blood is one of the greatest Chicago drill full-length projects ever released. And that's not because Jeff is an amazing rapper, or because it has the best production attributed to a Chicago drill project, but because the project, the beats, and the subject matter perfectly encapsulate exactly what's going on in the minds of Chicago's youth in 2024. Set aside the fact that Jeff killed people, he experimented with drill music and created something totally unique. He took the leaned-out rap style of later Chief Keef and brought it into the modern era. He combined the wavy and lazy flows of a mumble rapper with the demonic and gritty content and real true crime backstory of someone like King Von. Jeff is like the mumble rap King Von, the Zan Von if you will. He paints a dark picture of the life he's living as a killer in Chicago at this point in his life. He explains the mindset of him and his crew, sliding every day, desperate to kill their enemies, take their watches, and mock them mercilessly for the whole world to see. Jeff celebrates real-life murders and violence with the same kind of glee a teenage Fortnite player would exhibit after killing their opponent and doing an emo over their body in the game. When I first heard Jeff's song Ah and heard him rap, he was screaming ah when he got hit, followed by the ad-lib of him doing the impression of those screams, ah. It actually made me laugh. That was before I learned the story and understood that he was doing a real impression of the dying screams of somebody whose life that he took before they even had a chance to turn 18. That's far from funny, but it truly is the attitude of the modern day streets in Chicago. It feels like once upon a time, young people in the rap scene dreamed of getting rich, but now it seems they simply dream of taking a life and getting away with it. Just like Von did, Jeff's music captures the darkest moods of the youth in the streets of Chicago and all over the world today. Everybody wants get back and revenge, much more than they want money or a long, successful and healthy life. And for some, it really seems like the name of the game is just killing as many people as they can and knowing that their time to go won't be much further away. The first video of Jeff's to pass 1 million views was
y'all hear that piano key? Da-da-dum. Da-da-dum. Ooh. Hold on, Trap Lil Ross, bitch. You ain't gonna get your shit off and anything. I ain't gonna peep that little beat in the background, bitch. That shit hard. I almost dropped the free side of that shit. On bro. Y'all niggas almost heard me get my shit up.
Knowing that their time to go won't be much further away, the first video of Jeff's to pass 1 million views was with this milestone being achieved ironically 16 days after his death. And the story of Jeff is really a cautionary tale. Even though it's completely wrong and immoral, even if you do respect somebody who has killed as many as 11 people, Jeff's story ended in a completely predictable way. No one was surprised that the supposed demon who claimed to have had 10 or 11 hats lost his life trying to take the life of another person. For the same reason I called King Von a serial killer, it's pretty easy to say that Jeff fits the very same criteria that the FBI lists to make you a serial killer. He seems to have killed more than 2 people in different places with more than a month apart. It sounds like he got a lot of personal gratification out of committing those murders. He seemed to have a pattern of behavior, and he left clues for the whole world to try and decipher in his music and on his social media posts. Beyond the many lyrics claiming to have a high body count, he left cryptic clues all over the place, like his Instagram captions using emojis to depict 10 different hats, each one giving a clue as to exactly who it was he was saying he killed.
Analysing these emojis deeper seems perhaps like a silly pursuit, knowing how prone Jeff was to trolling and how aware he was about his growing infamy amongst the Chicago drill fans, and how he was willing to further increase it with his antics online. But still, as I previously mentioned, the 2 graduation caps seem like an obvious reference to Monty and Lil Rob. Then there's the woman's hat emoji, which was changed to the princess emoji, which could possibly be referencing D-Money, while either the crown or the so-called rescue worker's hat likely being a reference to Lil Deuce. And continuing the list towards the beginning, the so-called top hat emoji could literally mean his top hat, meaning his most valuable or favorite kill, with that likely being Lil, who would have been Jeff's revenge for the murder of his beloved cousin Z-Money. Or it could be a reference to the Vice Lords, who are known to have used that top hat as part of their symbolism. Or it could have been any number of things for that matter. The so-called military helmet emoji, on the other hand, might well be the most interesting one in that post, given particularly the rumors that Jeff had been doing contract killings all the way out in Milwaukee, with this emoji perhaps rather perfectly capturing the idea of Jeff doing a kill as simply a hired gun or professional soldier. Then there's the 3 blue caps at the start, also known as the build cap emoji, a much more cryptic start to an already cryptic list, with this emoji generally being used as the standard one to symbolize catching a hat, meaning a body. Perhaps these alleged victims may have meant less to Jeff, perhaps being simply practice kills that he participated in with the older Bloodhounds when he was first getting into gang life. Or perhaps the meaning is in the color, with the blue color being one of the main colors used by the GDs or gangster disciples, such as the earliest ops of Drill City, the 8-Tray Mob, Evans Mob, and Hit Squad, with the first body of Jeff, according to one Chiracologist, indeed being Clay from 8-Tray. As can be seen from the clues left by Jeff, while at times in his career he likened himself to Jeffrey Dahmer, clearly from all of these clues and hints and twisted codes used to hint to the world exactly what he was doing in the streets, if you ask me, he was much more like the Zodiac Killer.
Just like Von, Jeff wanted everyone in the world to know what he'd done and that he'd gone further than Von. But the difference right now is, unlike Von, I haven't been able to pin down every single one of Jeff's supposed 10 killings that he claims responsibility for. I couldn't prove with the information that's out there that Jeff killed all 10 or 11 people that he claims he did, but he says he did it. Right now, just like what happened with Von, as more time goes by since his passing, it's likely that more information will come out to prove or disprove his exact involvement in the murders he's accused of. By the end of his life, Jeff was claiming he'd killed 11 people. I personally feel like I've only seen conclusive proof of about 3 murders. But at the end of the day, Jeff dropped lyric after lyric about stalking his enemies, chasing them down, and even running in their homes to try and kill them. And from the surveillance footage that we saw when he passed away, it seemed like Jeff was really doing everything he rapped about. So even though we've only really been able to...
who the fuck knows what he really did for now? Cause like, I'm not gonna lie to you. Clearly, this nigga was really hopping out doing drills, running in niggas' cribs, like really getting it in like that. So who's to tell, even though you ain't got conclusive evidence of it, it was clearly something wrong with this little nigga, you feel me?
Prove a few of these murders. At the end of the day, Jeff was rapping that he'd really killed 11 people. And you know what? I think I believe him.
Yeah, I believe he got, Yeah, I believe it. Shit, I can see him with 11 on. I ain't gonna lie to you. It ain't no more to this video.
Targaryens are gone. Burn them all!
Hell nah. Alright, chat, I'm gonna get the fuck up out of here, man. I appreciate y'all niggas for watching, y'all niggas for stopping with me, over whooping with me, probably smoking with me, probably eating with me, probably, you feel me, just chilling, you feel me? Bro, I appreciate y'all niggas. I love y'all niggas. I'm gonna see y'all boys in the next one, man. Y'all be safe. I'm gonna see y'all tomorrow with whatever the fuck I see y'all tomorrow with, you feel me? Peace out, y'all.